Story coming in from Bangladesh. There seems to be no end to atrocities against minorities in Bangladesh. The latest coming in is that another ISKCON temple in Dhaka has been vandalized and set on fire by miscreants. The incident is said to have occurred on Friday. Vice President and spokesperson of the Kolkata ISKCON, Radharamn, in fact, took to the platform X and wrote that ISKCON Namhatta Centre was burned down in Bangladesh. The deities of Sri Sri Laxmi Narayan and all items inside the temple were burned down completely. Radharamn tweeted, and I quote, "Another ISKCON Namhatta Centre burned down in Bangladesh. The deities of Sri Sri Laxmi Narayan and all items inside the temple were burned down completely. The centre is located in Dhaka." However, there were no immediate reports of any injuries.
आज सवेरे 2 से 3 बजे के बीच में इस्कॉन का एक नामहट सेंटर है ढाका उपजिला में। वहाँ पर जो कुछ लोग आकर पेट्रोल फेंक कर पूरे मंदिर को जला दिया है। वहाँ पर श्री श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण जी का विग्रह था, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण और बहुत सारे और भी डेटीज़ थे। तो लक्ष्मी नारायण जी का जो विग्रह है पूरी तरह से वो क्षतिग्रस्त हो गया है। पूरा जो मंदिर है वो जल गया है। तो ये बहुत ही दुखद है। हम देख रहे हैं कि हम बहुत आशा करके रखे थे कि शायद अब ये हिंसा कम होगी। 2 दिन से थोड़ा सा कम भी हुआ था, लेकिन फिर से आज जो ये अटैक हुआ है इस्कॉन के एक और मंदिर में, वो बहुत दुखद है।
This comes a week after an ISKCON centre in Bhairab was vandalized. Last month, ISKCON monk Chinmoy Krishnadas was arrested in Dhaka on charges of treason, and his bail was also being rejected. Meanwhile, the situation in Bangladesh remains volatile amid the ongoing protests by Hindus and minority communities over recent attacks and harassment against them. In fact, we are joined in now to discuss on the issue by Suhas Chakma, Director, Rights and Risk Analysis Group, and Razia Muni, who is an activist in Bangladesh. Well, let me first go to Suhas Chakma. Suhas Chakma, it seems that there is no protection for minorities, as much as the government of Bangladesh wants to say that they are trying to ensure that all of them are protected. There seems to be just no protection for minorities at all.
Well, if you want to ensure or if you want to provide protection, then it means that you have to register the cases, you have to prosecute those who are responsible for it, and that's not something which has been happening in Bangladesh with respect to the attacks on minorities. In particular, of course, the general situation also remains the same because the law and order situation is completely broken down. And they have further been emboldened by the fact that a section of the political leaders are living in denial and completely denying the attacks on the Hindu and other minorities. So if you do not allow the law to take its own course, obviously people believe that they are beyond the reach of the law. And if you can get away with the arrest of somebody like Chinmoy Prabhu, then obviously you can get away with anything. Because if you look at the charges against Chinmoy Das, you see that this would not stand any scrutiny whatsoever because he is not even a prime accused of ISKCON flags being put on top of the flags of the Bangladeshi national flags, which was put by the Vaishamya Birodhi Chhatra Andolan. So I think there is an atmosphere of impunity in Bangladesh, and it has always been there. And now you have the support of the political leadership, especially those who are running the country. Then obviously these things are bound to happen, and you come to know usually if it takes place in a city like Bangladesh, in Dhaka. But across the country, we continue to receive reports, and these are unfortunate. And ultimately, it is not the rhetoric which will in any way, change the perception of the people. What will change the perception of the people is whether you have taken anybody into custody for the attacks, and if forget the recent attacks. The report by Pratama on 11th September had said there were 190 incidents, 1,090 incidents of attacks on the minorities. Had anybody been taken into account for that? Unfortunately, no. And still the government lives in denial, and that's the main problem why this kind of attacks are taking place.
Well, we also joined in by Razia Muni, who in fact is an activist in Bangladesh. Razia Muni, one big factor that we all from India are seeing is that the very essence of Bangladesh, which is Bengali nationalism, is being wiped away. The legacy surrounding Mujibur Rahman, who fought for Bangladesh on Bengali nationalism as a platform, that legacy is being removed, saying that it's an Awami League legacy. What legacy is now Bangladesh standing on? Its constitution is being questioned, its electoral government has been thrown out, and a government is there of UNIS. It's supposed to be a caretaker government that is not giving dates for the elections to be held. What is happening in Bangladesh?
Actually, I have to express and share with you all with a deep, sorrowful heart that the present condition of Bangladesh is so miserable and unstable. And after the 5th August, on the 5th August, our Prime Minister was under a conspiracy and she had to leave the country. The fundamentalists made this conspiracy with the help of the present government and BMP government. And after 5th August of this year, we are passing a very extreme, incredible times. Not only the Hindus, but also the other minorities are being suppressed. And actually, there is no basic rules and regulations in the present situation in Bangladesh. The government is not actually, they are not trying to do the discipline in the country. If the government took the proper initiative to protect the minorities, the discipline in the country, then we won't have to see the present scene. One after one ISKCON temples, Hindu families are burned and they are suppressed extremely. It's a great sorrow for us. Actually, the government of Sheikh Hasina, she was always attended to protect the Hindus and the other minor communities. During Sheikh Hasina's time, this type of miscreants didn't take place. It was very rare. And in the present time, after 5th August, we are sufferer each and every day. The worker of Liberation War 71, who are at the part of Liberation War family, they are also sufferer by the present government and fundamentalist. Actually, I would like to say the Jamaat Islami, the BNP, and the present government, they are in one tie. And I would say neutrally that they have a big support of Pakistan to destroy our Bangladesh and to destroy the harmony between all religions. And this is the reason they made a pressure and artificial revolution, student revolution against our leader, Sheikh Hasina. And after 5th August, there have been so many big incidents, so many houses of Awami League activists, Hindus, and other minor communities also, and they're doing one after one killing in our country, who are on part of the Awami League government and Liberation War. And I believe that the present government is not actually working to bring discipline in the country because they're doing together all those miscreants. If a government, if a advisor like Dr. Yunus, who got Nobel in peace, if he was determined, he would be success to control the situation of our country. But he's not doing anything like that. He said with the leaders of several religion, but he told that at first he told that nothing happened to the minorities. And again, he told that I have no information. And on the third, he told that some mistake may be happened. He's telling 3 types of words in 3 times. And I believe that we can get the peace again if Sheikh Hasina government is back to Bangladesh, because
Right.
she proved already what she can do for the country. She developed the country. And during her time, minorities were protected. She also attended puja programs and she gave all supported of the minorities, which
Right.
now everything is just
Right. In
around
fact, Raza, you have raised a very important point on this aspect. And let me get that to Suhas Chakma on that. Pakistan's role is something that is suspected in all this because the manner in which the very identity of Bangladesh is being eroded, it's being completely destroyed. Anti-Bengali nationalism and the aspect of religion again finding itself coming into the mainstream. How do you in fact see that aspect of it? Is Pakistan, or rather trying to make Bangladesh into another East Pakistan?
Well, I
Or
don't think
reclaim it
it's
rather?
uh, I don't think it's actually the Pakistanis. It's something which was, engineered by the Americans. It was Professor Jeffrey Sachs who had written about American intervention initially in Pakistan because Imran Khan was not towing the line or trying to follow independent foreign policy. Then thereafter Bangladesh. So I think the Pakistan just made a backdoor entry, and they made the backdoor entry simply because the architect of Islamic fundamentalism in Bangladesh at this point of time is Yunus himself. I think people wrongly understand him and think he's a Nobel laureate, so that's why he's a peacemaker. He is a fundamentalist to the core. His key supporter at this point of time are two young fellows who are the president and the general secretary of the Jamati Islamic Chhatra Shibiar. And both of them come from the Chittagong Hill Tracts. So their worldview remains very, constrained, or because of the conflict which you have between the Buddhists and the plain settlers who are settled there. So when you have people who have been in conflict or who have grown up with conflict with the minority communities serving as your advisors, then of course your worldview is actually similar to them. So that is why if you look at the tendency of this government, Yunus government, the Yunus government or Yunus intention or the people who are part of this caretaker government, their main aim is actually to develop Bangladesh without the Awami League's Sheikh Hasina ji as well as BNP's Khaleda Jia ji. So that is why after the Awami League was thrown out, they have kept the BNP at a distance. And at the same point of time, they are fearful of BNP going or protesting against them. So therefore, they have been making, deals with the BNP, and they have been basically dealing with the BNP at an arm's length. They want to form a political party, then hold elections, and of course, I mean, they cannot possibly win all the seats. Then they will go into some kind of partnership with the Jamati Islami. But in the entire process, if you allow Awami League as a political party, the entire game plan of Yunus might change. So that's why from the beginning, he has excluded the entire 14-party alliance, and he's building an Islamic Bangladesh so that he can remain in power. So that's the biggest threat, and I think the West, as well as many of us, are just waking up till now because everybody holds Dr. Yunus really in high esteem because after all, at the end of the day, he's a Nobel Prize winner, and it's just a small thing. So that's why I said earlier, he had an opportunity to build Bangladesh in a manner, so that everybody can be accommodated. And he is building a Bangladesh which is in a way increasingly resembling East Pakistan.
Right. Rajamani, the last question to you is, of course, this, that I know you are saying that there is a lot of sadness when it comes to how Bangladesh is right there today. Do you have any hope in the caretaker government holding elections anytime soon?
We all are hoping for election. We are also working. We also had our protest for the election because an caretaker government had to give election by 2 or 3 months hardly. But Dr. Yunus have no intention like that because he think that up to election he can be in power, and after election he can be, because he wanted to reform and his own political party, but people won't accept him because people already saw what he can do for the country. He has no control on law and order. So we all protested, and we want our election within hardly 2 months or 3 months. And I would like to also mention, if he didn't had any align with the fundamentalists, with the Jamatis, then we would have expect something good from him, but now we don't. And in some news medias, I saw the fundamentalists saying that we shall have to work now with sword, not with word. So you can imagine what extreme plan, disaster plan they are making together. So Yunus have to give election. We are also protesting for that, working for that. But he don't have any plan, any declaration, anything like that. He just want to kill time and want to be on his chair up to how long he can.
Well, thank you, in fact, Rajamani, for joining us. Thank you, Suresh Chakma, for, in fact, Suhas Chakma, for, in fact, being with us and giving us an insight about how the situation is in Bangladesh.